Did you know that the Romani language has this tradition? Like in Sanskrit, we have like over 80 dialects.
When I make the exhibition Barvalipe about different Roma, and it was just everyone speak how many country.
Welcome to the new podcast Amaro Voice. Amaro is from the Romani language and means our, so our Romani voices. Welcome to this new podcast. I'm glad that I will do this podcast with you, Stephanie. So I will just recommend we introduce ourselves. So you can start if you want.
Yes, of course. I'm Stephania Bosnjak. I'm a Roma journalist too. I'm originally from north of Serbia, and I'm living in Brussels. I'm used to pronounce she and her. I'm a Roma woman who is part of the group called Boyash, and who speak Vlach. I'm a director of the immersive exhibition Barvalipe and director of French-speaking podcast Héritage, which is bringing together several generations of family migratory history.
I'm Sejnur Memisi. I'm journalist and also Roma activist from Germany. I'm originally from Kosovo, so I'm part of the Ali group of the Ali Roma. I escaped the war in 1999 with my family, and when I was 7, I came to Germany. And I studied media management. Since 2020, I produced the Sinti and Roma podcast in German language, which is called now Sinti Roma News. So I'm glad that we can start this new project. I always wanted to do something in English to the same topics when I started in German, but I never had time. So I'm glad that we have this opportunity now to do, and also with you. And Stefania, we know each other like since 2018 in Dikh and Bister, and we never talked a lot about languages. I remember some things. So you just said now you speak the Vlach dialect, and did you spoke so much about the Romani language? Did you spoke at home with your parents in Romani language, or did you knew something before when you was younger?
I'm very happy to share with you this new podcast and to share with Sejnur our experience too about the Romani language. It was very interesting because at home when I was young, we didn't speak Romani language. It was like in this part, in this moment, the immigration, the message was like you have to speak the language of the country. It was like because the parents, I remember all the people say, oh, if your child speak like other language, maybe it's not good for his brain. You go to mix everything. And it was really the message, you have to be assimilated. And we don't have to speak another language. And for that, we speak just French at home. It was very special for that.
My parents tried to speak with us the Romani language, of course, our dialect. But for me, it's also like I kind of can understand you, because also when we escaped the war, we were separated from our Romani community. So we lived uh, in the city with like no other Romani families. So we was like very less of Romani families. Like our neighborhood was very mixed of Germans and like also other migrants, like Turkish, Kurdish migrants, Italian migrants. So of course this was also good for me as migrant when I came to Germany to learn better German. But also it was difficult because our language is very old. It has very old traditions, and it's also like a verbal language. It was never written back then in the time in books. So, but my parents always tried the best to speak with us our language, and I think I cannot speak our dialect like perfect, but I can speak very well, I think. Did you know that the Romani language has this tradition like in Sanskrit? it was part of the old Indian Empire. Like Sanskrit has languages like Hindu and other languages. It was like 7 languages was part of Sanskrit. It was like 1500 before our modern time, and Romani was one part of it.
Yeah. No, I think it's very important to keep this heritage because I remember when I come back, like all the child from immigration background in Serbia, we can communicate it with our auntie, our cousin, and we have a big family, and we was like very bad with this because all the time we have to speak or English or Spanish or other language, but it was totally different. And I think in the 18 and the 19, um, in Belgium, it was like, okay, you are from immigration, you can be Turkish people, you can be from many different countries. And I think for my family was like more easy to don't make ways like okay, you are from immigration, we are not Roma, we are from immigration like the other one. And for that I think we don't keep this heritage, and I think it's so pity because it's the transmission um, like they kept in this moment about the language, and the language mean many things about the heritage for sure.
Mm. So it's also interesting, like when you look back in the history, a lot of scientists and other people was working on that, and so like what we have written like on books, the first Roma groups who emigrated from Asia to Europe, like from India, was during the 9th until the 11th century, and until then, like the Roma change a lot. Because of this, I think also we have like over 80 dialects. So it's also interesting. Even you speak Vlach, right?
Yeah.
So even if you would speak Vlach and I speak the Arli dialect, which is spoken like in Kosovo, South Serbia, maybe some people also in North Serbia, but like North Macedonia, maybe Montenegro, and
Yeah.
maybe also some people in Bulgaria and Greece, not Greece. So even with my dialect and your dialect, we cannot talk to each other in Romani language. Maybe we will understand some few words, like the basic words, but also sometimes also in dialects, the grammatic is very different. So it's
Yeah.
interesting how this changed only because of this kind of diaspora.
Yeah, that's true. And I think, you have like some new word or new concepts, and you can really listen the mix between our language and the language from the country. It's interesting. You have like many word about the nature or about it's like you can traduce some word because it's the way it's different, and we move, and it was existing this thing in this moment, and for that we catch like the word from the country when we came. It's very interesting, it's fascinating, I think,
Mhm.
um, how we can transform all the
Mhm.
language.
And do you know something what maybe the explanation like for Vlach, what Vlach means, or do you have some interesting stories?
My father write a book about
Mhm.
the family story, and all the time he say, "Ah, we speak our language," and I was like, "Ah, we speak Serbian," but it wasn't
Mhm.
Serbian; it was Vlach. And
Mhm.
we can say, for example, um, we was in Romania before, and we was slave for sure, because some
Mhm.
word you can really know is word about the language of slavery, and we can really understand the story about the family, about
Mhm.
the yeah, about the road they came before to came in Serbia, about just with the language, for example.
Mm. Interesting also. I mean, it's not it's interesting that Roma were slaves, but what like different Roma in different areas had like different experiences. I know from researchers, but also when I talked to my family, like my group, Ali, was Roma who lived also like the roots in the Ottoman Empire. So the name Ali comes from Turkish and has his background like Ali, and it means like honored, but also like native and autochthon or indigenous people. So we was like even registered. So we was allowed to work, to go to school, to study. We was allowed to stay and to be free. It's like different experience from different Roma. So, how is it in Belgium? So you are from Belgium, and like we have of course different dialects, and different dialects means also to have different kind of Roma groups or Sinti groups. So
Yeah.
do you know like the minorities, the different minorities? Because we are so diverse, so
Yeah.
it's not only one Roma group, you know. So do you know
No, for
about
sure.
Belgium? So what is the term there? So the
Hmm.
differences.
Uh, I think it's different than Germany for that, but we have like different ways about Roma. Um, I the first we the first document about the Roma community in Belgium. It was in Anvers. It's a city in the Flemish part in the 50th century, more or less. And we can say, for example, when the war in Balkan and ex-Yugoslavia came, we have like the other ways coming. And it's like this, depends the context of different country, for example. And we have like ways. I think the more recently wave was like Bulgarian people and Romanian people. I think it's the and Turkish people and from Syria too. You can see some community. I think the biggest community it's Bulgarian Roma, and now for sure from Syria and Turkish.
We have the German Sintis who are in Germany, and who are in Germany like maybe over 700 years. Then we have the so-called German Roma, who are since over 200 years in Germany. Then we have also German Roma, but who came as guest worker from the former Yugoslavia, from the Western Balkans, to Germany around the 60s, 70s to work, who was like guest worker after the war. Germany needed guest workers, so and they also became Germans, of course, by citizenship. Then we have, of course, during the 90s, during the Balkan Wars in Serbia, but also Bosnia, Kosovo, and other countries, like my example, who came as refugees.
Mm.
And then now we have like, and also, of course, uh, it's always explained here, like the narrative that the guest the guest worker who came from Western Balkan, it wasn't only Roma from Western Balkan who came as guest. It was also Sinti and Roma from Italy, Roma from Portugal, and other European countries
Mm.
who came to Germany, or from
Yeah.
Greece and Turkey. And then I guess like two last groups, like first Romania and Bulgaria, who also came when their country was part of Europe. And I think now the latest group is Roma from Ukraine because of the war.
Okay.
So this is kind of different
Okay.
groups. Yeah,
But
it's
it's
very much.
interesting. Yeah, it's interesting because every country with the rules about immigration, you can really see different kind of groups coming just for the word or just for or just because they are like in Ukraine, some conflict. I in Serbia in my family. It's very specific immigration. It's the women go to Germany to work like few months and come back in Serbia. It's not like migration and we stay in Germany. It's just like you go, you come back, you come back, but it's like you stay. They stay much time. Enfin,
Mm.
if you really see, and you have many children, they go to the grandfather, or it's very specific form of migration too. They go to care of the old people in Germany, and they can care about with the old in the village, for example. It's really changing. The landscape is changing about that too.
I think it's also important to mention, I forgot it earlier, of course, we are very diverse, like our communities are very diverse. We have different religions, we have people like Jewish Roma, Muslim Roma, Orthodox or like Catholic Christian Roma, of course, also atheistic people. We have people who are part of the LGBT, LGBTQ group. So it's also interesting because a few weeks ago I was for a seminar in Strasbourg. So then I met someone there, and then when I said that I'm Roma, and she was like, "But you said before you're Muslim," so she was like, "Okay, interesting. I never met a Muslim Roma before," so because she knew only Christian Roma, so we have people with different religions.
Yeah, that's true. No, it's amazing when you just realize how many kind of difference we can have in the community. It's just amazing. When I make the exhibition Barbalipe, I take a lot of portrait about different Roma, and it was just about the language, how many language everyone speak, how many country we can from, how many. It's just it's so crazy. I didn't realize before was like this diversity, you know.
So before we start with our new rubric, what I would like to try for this new podcast, I just want to tell for the people who are right now watching or listening. So this is our first episode. If you want to support us, if you like this podcast, if you like the idea, you can follow us on Instagram, Amaro Voice. So we will give you all links on the description. It's important also to follow us on Spotify if you are watching or listening now on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, just to follow to not miss our episodes. And
And
also
put
with
five
this
stars.
podcast, 5 stars is very important for the algorithm. Yeah, right, true. And also, I was thinking, Stefania, maybe not everybody has Spotify, not everybody use Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts in the Roma community. So I was thinking also, like on Spotify, you have this option that you can also watch the episodes. This is why we do video podcasts also. So with this video podcast, these episodes are also on YouTube. So if you are watching right now on YouTube, I would like you just to give us a like on this video, to make a comment, to subscribe our channel, and then just to not miss our episode. It's very important. It's for free for you to follow, and with this you will support and help us. And also, this is our very first episode, first season. So we will do in the next 2 years more episodes. So also, I would like you people, if you are interested and if you like this idea also, you can just comment us and write contact us. And if you have ideas, which kind of topics do you want us to talk about, or do
Yeah.
you have ideas, do you have people whom we should interview? So at the end, maybe we will also explain later that on this podcast also we will make interviews.
No, it's. I just want to say about the podcast. We try to do our best. I think so, and we want really to be to do a podcast like a participative, how we can.
Yeah.
I think we want to be more inclusive, how we can do it, and it's the first episode. My English is not so good, but look, we try to do it the with the best way, and we are very open to have like some backup about some stuff if you are not agree, if we have something to say about one word, we are very open to take everything.
Stephania, I want to present you my idea for a rubric. I would like to do it for every episode, but also episodes with the interviews. I want to call it like learning Romani language. So in the beginning, I will just like say which dialect I speak, and then you. And also, I have for you 3 words in English, and we will just compare it with our
Mhm.
dialect. I want to do it like for every episode, and also with the guests. And then at the end, after 2 years, we can see how much words we compared. Will be interesting. So I would just
Yeah.
say, let's start for learning Romani language. Learning Romani language. For the people right now who are watching or listening, I would like also you to comment. So we will share these 3 words, and I would like you to comment to say for you, like which dialect you speak, is your from which country is your dialect, and also to give us the 3 words from your dialect. So maybe it's also a good possibility to interact with you. So, Stefania, I will start. So, of course, I speak the Ali dialect. Like I said in the beginning, you speak the Vlach dialect. So, the winter is coming already to the end, and I hope that the spring will start. So, I don't like the cold winters. But in the winter, like in Germany, we had a lot of snow. So, my first word is snow.
Okay. Donc, I don't speak that dialect, but I go
Mhm.
to do my best with my family. The Vlad dialect, it's from old Romanian language, and snow we say zapada. And you in
We
Ali
say
dialect?
in the other dialect, we say Eve. It's just IV, so Eve. It just means snow. But
Okay.
um, I'm also not sure because in my dialect we mix the Romani language with Turkish and Serbian. So
Yeah.
sometimes we just use Serbian words or Turkish words, but
Yeah.
have something like Romani grammar in the language.
Mhm.
Yeah. So my second word, the people can listen to us. I hope the people will listen to us and also maybe watch. So the second word is listen.
Okay. Sorry for the people watching or listen to us, but I don't have the answer. Donc, I really ask to the community to help me for this word in Vlach. Voilà. Sejnur, it's
Yes,
for
so
you now.
we say shun. Yeah, just shun mean just listen. I remember that this kind of word is like many dialects use. Also, some dialects say ashunav. Maybe I think in your dialect, maybe also they will say ashunav. Um, the mostly Romani dialects say ashun or ashunav, like I know. And in our dialect, we don't use the A in the beginning, we just say shun or shunav. Like shun means listen, and if I say shunav, means I listen. So it's also interesting in the my dialect, in the Romani grammatic, we don't use like the I or me. We don't use it
Mhm.
in the beginning, we use it in the ending, but it's part of the word.
Okay.
Yes. So the last word is table.
Okay. Table in Vlach dialect, it's masa.
Okay. So do you know from your family, from your dad, if it has something meaning, some meanings?
No, I think masa it's like a Latin language. It's like mesa in Spanish. I think for sure it's Romanian word.
Mhm.
Uh, I don't know if in Romania you. they say masa
Mhm.
until now, but for sure it's like the road.
Mhm. So we say Astali, but I think Astal is Serbian or Turkish word, so I'm not sure. I know that it's not Romani word, so for sure it's like Serbian or Turkish word. It's also interesting for your word. You said Masa, because in my dialect, Masa means the plural version for meat.
Okay.
You know, meat
Okay.
like for food,
Yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
it's also interesting in the Romani language, like one word from your dialect can has other meaning for my dialect, or also the same, like
Yeah.
one word from my dialect can have other meaning for your dialect.
Yeah. Now, when we speak with the language Romani professor, it's just to be crazy. There are so many dialects. It's so interesting because I think we can do like many links about different dialect or an epoch. You know.
Like for the people who are listening or watching, like I said in the beginning, I would like you just to comment to tell us which dialect do you speak and to give us also your 3 words. So this was our rubric, learning Romani language. So this was like the beginning, the premiere, and we will continue for the next episodes. Learning Romani language. Stefania, the Roma people in many years founded some things what people don't know that is Roma origin. I made a
Okay.
small research, so this is kind of like empowerment. This is also what I like to use like for workshops or also for digital work. So I
Okay.
will read on my computer and give you my research. So the
Okay.
first one is flamenco. Flamenco, it was created by Spanish Calais. Calais is the own term for the Spanish Roma. The Spanish Calais or Spanish Roma created it in Andalusia, and many people think it's like typical Spanish. It's also people don't know that this was created by Roma.
I lived 3 years in Spain before, and many people know the flamenco, can dance a little bit, or it's really part of the culture. But um, they don't mention all the time the origin of flamenco. Um, and I think it's very interesting when you go more deep inside the flamenco way. You can. It's a big heritage for Spain, for example, and I think like Rosalia, the singer, have a lot of flamenco sounds, and there are a lot of polemic about that too. Um, I don't know if you listen about this, Sejnur.
Yes, I listen a lot, like example Rosalia, and
Hmm.
this we will talk in the next episodes. Like in the next episodes, we have a topic, and then we will talk also about flamenco. But I don't want to spoiler it. So the next thing is I don't know if you know about this. Like in UK, in the English, they have an English slang. They say Paul for friend, like PAL. Do you
Okay.
heard about it?
No.
So it's this Paul, like people use it in Great Britain for a good friend, and this
Okay.
has its origin from Pral, and Pral means in Romani language brother.
Okay.
So it's something what English people take from the Roma words and use it for the English language. We have this kind of using Roma words in German language also. Um,
Hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
sure in many languages we have this. Of course,
Yeah.
we live so
Of
long in
course.
Europe, almost 1,000
Yeah.
years.
Yeah. Yeah. In French, there is many word, Roma word too. It's I didn't know because you use the word all the day and we say, okay, it's Romani word. And for sure, if the Roma people was in Europe, um, in Belgium for sure, in the 15th century for sure they stay here. We don't know who is there because they are founded on the other one, but for sure they care some, they bring some stuff with them when they came in Europe for sure.
I'll continue to the next one. Like my next fact is we have like Roma heroes from the Marvel and DC franchise. Like Marvel and DC right now for the superhero movies, like they make millions and billions with these movies from the old comics. So there we have like characters who are originally in the comic Roma. Example, Wanda from Marvel, Robin as sidekick from Batman, and many other figures. So my last project was about this topic, about Romani fictional and real heroes.
Many very interesting things to speak with you.
The next one, you know Shakespeare, and
Yeah.
Shakespeare used many Romani words in his work. As example, it's called "As You Like It," from the 16th, 17th century, and he used in the language some Roma words. Example, he wrote "Ductame" in the Act Second, Scene 5, and this Ductame has his origin in Ducame, what kind of means "it hurts me." So Shakespeare he used Anglo-Romani words. So Anglo-Romani is a Roma dialect from UK, which is mixed with the English language, like English and Romani language is mixed. So he liked to use a lot of words from this dialect for his work. Yeah.
Okay. It's wow. Okay. When we go to have access to more archives, we go to find many more things. It's
Yeah.
we are just in the beginning of
Yeah. So my last fact, of course we have more facts, but then the episode will be over 1 hour. So my last fact, did you know that the word or the product lollipop is from Roma? So Roma and Sinti in Europe was selling at amusement parks like candy, like apple with sugar, like red apple. It was kind of some candy, like real apple with this sugar. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And they called it lollipabai, and lollipabai is from the Romani language and means red apple. And from lollipabai, the industry created the word lollipop, like we know it now. You know, the lollipop.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is like the facts. We are coming almost to the end. So Stefania, do you have some closing words?
The best word. I go to find. I don't have the best word to close. Just I want to say thank you very much to listen to us. We are very happy to come with this podcast, and we are very exciting to come back for the next episode.
Thank you for supporting. Ciao and devlesa.
Ciao ciao.
This podcast is funded by der Stiftung Erinnerung, Verantwortung und Zukunft EVZ as part of the project Amaro Voice, digitale Bildungsarbeit über die Communities der europäischen Sinti und Roma bei der NGO Medien und Kulturzentrum Deutscher Roma e.V.